you have less than minute to be likable in order to get investment. My style in everything, in mentorship, everything is brutally honest. So you need to face the truth. On average, 95% of the startups are failing. It's either they couldn't find the money, no product market fit. So basically, you are building for someone who is never going to buy your product. And
Yeah.
third one is usually that you are lone wolf and no one ever was there to advise you or to help you out. So you had no mentor.
David, nice to see you here on our school community, in our the Billions Club. So welcome, welcome. And
Okay.
David, maybe you can introduce yourself because really what this is going to be about is, the whole concept of this is to show people that are founders that one day you're going to have a chance to meet with somebody that's an investor and have like lunch with them or dinner with them and introducing yourself and really sharing your vision, your dream, and what it is that you're building that you're seeking investment for, right?
I think you are doing a pretty interesting thing, and the community of the people. I think it's very hard to find someone who wants to do something at
Mm,
all in the world.
mm.
If someone wants to do something, it means they are like way ahead of some other people who doesn't want to do it. So as
That's
simple
a,
as that. Yes, I'm David. I wear three hats. It's a serial entrepreneurship, so starting the companies from scratch and bringing to some level, uh, and then either hiring managers, either selling them, either I don't know, whatever comes to the mind. My second hat that I'm wearing is the investments. I invest into startups and not only into startups, but into traditional methods as well. And the third hat is the mentorships, business mentorship. Especially, I help startup founders and SME founders to to develop their company and sometimes their self as well in a more efficient way. It doesn't mean that I know something that someone does not. I just fail a lot of times. I've done many things in short period of time, and now I have practical experience of failures and errors, and this gives me sometimes the, let's say, courage to support others. This is what I'm doing. I do listen to many pitches you mentioned about the founders. Yes, I meet with a lot of founders from around the globe,
mm,
from US, from English-speaking countries, from Eastern European countries, from Central Asian countries. I'm traveling around the globe, and I'm doing my online mentorships. And yes, it's very important how you're going to introduce yourself, your ideas, and your vision. And
mm,
usually, you are very much limited. Uh,
mm,
what usually we as investors are facing is that founders think that investors have like unlimited time, but unfortunately we don't. And as my friend Israel Pons, who is an amazing person from Mexico, said, you have less than minute to be likable in order to get investment. So less than minute. That's not a lot of time.
just a minute, eh? Wow, that's crazy. I mean,
Less than minute. Less than minute.
less less than a minute.
If you did not hook someone in 10, 15 seconds, then it's very hard to hook them up later on. But this is like psychological. This is research-based thing. This has nothing to do with the choices. This is like how psychology of the person is working.
Let me ask you a question. So
Sure.
how did your journey start? Like, I mean, where did you grow up, and how did you get into entrepreneurship and everything?
Yeah, I grew up in the country of Georgia. Country of Georgia is the Eastern Europe. I grew up during wars. I've seen three wars. I'm not
Wow,
that old.
three wars?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, man. Thank God you're alive,
I
bro.
yes, yes. That I mean that when I'm talking about the experiences, this is also part of the experiences. It was a very tough childhood with a lot of really tough things I have seen and experienced. Then I studied in for my bachelor's degree on IT. So basically, I'm the IT guy.
Mm,
I was working 8 years in IT field in the many places, and then in 2016, me and my partner we have founded our first company, which was IT related hardware, and then we grow that very fast. And I always had this vision of the holding, like to have many companies.
mm,
And we have managed to create that holding. Basically, when we saw some kind of business, because we were trying so many things and we were falling so many times down, and we have made so many mistakes. But when we started to observe that some field was growing, we were founding the new company and giving that direction. For example, we created the energy business out of it, service business, and others and others. And then in last year, I sold part of my companies and I moved my majority of the shares into energy business. Currently, I own energy business, but we do very much boring, I call it boring energy, electricity business. But it's very interesting, and I think it's a goal of the next century, electricity and energy in general. But I always had this passion about the tech. I always thought that the next step of the entrepreneurship would be the investment, because uh, I think this is kind of the give back to the community that you can do when you already passed some stages in your life.
mm.
And then, of course, the mentorship came, which is also extra, let's say, push up to my portfolio startup founders or to the founders that are currently trying to build something from the scratch.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I mean, can you tell me like a little bit more about that startup like journey, like when you first did the IT company back in 2016? Like what was it
Yeah.
like in the beginning stages, and what kind of uh, what problem were you trying to solve, and then what kind of challenges did you face as you were trying to grow the company, before you scaled it and started
Uh,
to and then eventually exited.
it was horrible, as usual. In any case, it is horrible in the beginning. I'm still doing that, to be honest. Currently, we started a couple of new ventures, and we are doing that exceptionally by bootstrapping, not getting any investments, because this is our vision. And this was my vision with my companies that we started. Now we what we had. So when we started, we had no money, and this was the fact. Both of me and my co-founder, we were working. We had no investment or no money to start it. There was no possibility to raise any money because we were not doing any innovative startup. We were just doing the business. That was our vision
Yeah.
from the beginning, right? And what we had the engineering background and some contacts. And this is what we had. And we started to use them. Contacts inside the country, outside the country, around the globe, whatever we had, because I was working for an international company. My partner was in the system integrator company, and he had very good coverage of the international companies and the contacts. So we started to, go in many ways, and we were doing so many things to find which product actually we can sell, and we were trying to sell, like, I don't know, CCTV cameras, so many things,
Yeah.
because we knew how to install it, how to sell it, and then time by time we found the products and we found the brand. which was a huge American brand. Now they are valued at 8 billion, and those years it was, I think, half of that. And we started partnership with them. We started to sell their product. We got certified by them as an engineer salesman. We started to push hardly, and they were the one of the first who believed in us as a team because we
Yeah.
just were two engineers, you know. And then we grow. We grow into that. We were selling data center solutions at the end. We were official distributors, so it was like really really serious. We managed to grow it really fast. That was like not in years but in months, you know, and we grow it very fast because we had nothing to lose.
Mm.
I always say that if you have nothing to lose, then you just push forward. There is no way back, so you need to go forward. And yeah, and
Did you
there
have
was,
like
I
a
think, yes.
I was gonna say, did you have like a family at that time, or were you just like
My daughter was born in 2016, so yes, I had a family. So that was,
was that like a big motivation for you, like, you know, while
yeah,
you were doing that?
of course, yes, yes, it was a lot of motivation for me, definitely. I had a really good job, Jordan. So basically, I had my pay grade was way above average. I was really in really good working environment, let's say.
Mm.
But uh, I realized that I love freedom and there are limits in the work, but I don't want to emphasize that way. I don't think that business is designed for everyone. And I think that working is very good. And especially if you really love stable environments and the incomes. But since my childhood was never the stable, I never loved the because I don't know how to even now I don't know how to rest when we go to holiday after 2 3 days I don't know what to do. So basically I needed some challenges and then there is nothing on the earth more challenging as job to do as business. So I just said
Yeah,
okay
yeah.
we
I mean,
need to do that.
especially because, you know, you're working, you know, a full-time job, probably high responsibility, right? And
Yeah.
also, I know you're in IT, and you know, a lot of founders, like even myself, like I'm still working a job to provide, and then I'm also building the Billions Club as well, right? At the same time, and I'm also, you know, doing my best to raise capital as well. I know you bootstrapped and everything, but I think like, you know, for some founders here, maybe they have a family, just like me. I have you know, like I have obligations and everything to take care of as well. So it's like, how do you make that? Like some people, they think, oh, you have to be all in, like you have to just go, like, you know, just work on, focus on that startup full time, or would you advise like people like in your situation where you had a job and then you also were building a startup, and then if like what would you advise like you know, some people in that situation, like where they have a family and everything?
Yes, that's a very good point. And to be honest, I don't see that there is any kind of the recipe on that matter because it's very subjective matter. For someone, it might work to go full, let's say, into something that they are building. But of course, this involves the risks, you know, it's and the business. There is no business that has no risks, right? So my what we have managed is to somehow combine that two together to do it together and same time somehow be present with the family because it's not possible at the end to have more than 24 hours per day, right? We are all
Yeah, that's
limited,
true.
right? So and you also want to be with your family, do the job and at the same time build the business. Yeah, it's very hard. It's a very hard process. But uh, what I think is if you approach everything smart way, let me put it that way, not smart way, but if you take into account that yes, this is the fact, right? You have obligations, you have family, this is a fact. And I mean, my style in everything, in mentorship, everything is brutally honest. So you need to face the truth. And our mind is defending us to face the truth all the time because it's easier to survive if you don't face the truth, right? So if you face the truth, it's a fact, and you need to handle all of it, what you have on your plate, right? But sometimes the people, some people, maybe they don't have obligations, but I've never seen someone who has no obligations. But okay, imagine they don't have it,
Yeah.
or they just ignore it, they just, okay, say, okay, let's put everything on zero. But this is more like a gambling. This has nothing to do with the rational decision of doing
Mm.
something, right? And this is my opinion. I don't judge anyone, of course, right? But on the other hand, if you take into account everything, you need to face the truth that, okay, in order to sustain my family, I need, I don't know, X amount of money, right? But I also want something to build, to provide more, or I don't know, to fulfill myself, or it doesn't matter what's the motivation. And if you manage to somehow integrate that into each other, our approach was very simple. We sold the contract that was able to deliver the amount of the money that can pay us the same salary as we had and plus hire the people. It was very
Mm.
simple. Just
Yeah.
sell something that is long term and stable. Simple
Mm.
as that. In case of the startups, when you don't have the product or your approach is not like really classical business approach, and I repeat, I think I'm going to repeat that many times because the innovative startup is a bit different story. Yes, you need to raise the capital or you need to, I don't know, somehow, because you don't have the product to sell. Basically, what you try to do, you try to build the product to sell to the market. But also, it's a fact that 95% of the startup, it depends on the country, but on average, 95% of the startups are failing.
Mm.
Why? Because either in most cases, either they couldn't find the money, uh, top three usually couldn't find the money, no product market fit. So basically, you are building for someone who is never going to buy your product. And
Yeah.
third one is usually that you are lone wolf and no one ever was there to advise you or to help you out, so you had and no then money. It comes like founders drama, could not decide something, I don't know, so many topics, but usually these three are the top reasons why startups are failing. So this means that there is a huge risk, not for investor but also for the founder, that it might fail. So if your approach will be again, okay, let's risk it all, then you are going in majority of the cases, you are going to lose. If you're lucky enough, then you go to Las Vegas, you put everything on zero, then you win, right? There's no point of working at all. If you
Yeah.
know for sure that you have the luck of 3 to 5%, right? So I always try to push the founders into more into reality,
Hmm.
to have a look on the reality, to take it into account, and not to do research just by ChatGPT or just ask your friends if they gotta buy something from you. This is not
Mm.
research, you know, but to try to face it, that it's not that easy. It's not that easy. But yes, there are so many success stories, and you want to believe in all of them. That okay, if someone did it, you will do it. Yes, you are capable of being very successful, all of us. But there are a lot of things that needs to be aligned.
So let me ask you this, in terms of who you've seen that has been successful, regardless of like the
Yes,
situation, whether
yes,
they have a family or not, whether they are going all in or not, like
yep,
regardless of the situation, what was like the common thing that you saw, even within yourself and your partner? I
yep.
know you mentioned three things. You mentioned, capital, product market fit, and then the last
Lack
thing
of
was
mentor.
the lack of mentorship. So, but in terms of quality of the founder or the founders, like what did you
Yes.
see? And even within yourself, what are some of the success, like things that are common between the people that were successful, like including yourself? Like what do you see the traits
Uh,
of those people?
uh, again, it's I don't think I've seen the people. succeeded by completely different skill set and soft
Mm.
skills and the character. And I've seen people succeeding in complete, there is no unique recipe. There is no
Oh
right
yeah,
answer.
yeah,
What
okay.
I think is the important is the discipline, definitely.
Mm.
And to be, I call it to be like a water, you know? If you are like a brick, it's very hard because bricks are failing if they are facing something that is harder than that. But
That's true.
water still stays, same amount, not breaking. So if you are, let's say, if you are really good at adjusting, I think that's the one of the unique skill sets because and there are so many. For example, acceptance. For example, when you are focused on something, you are building something, and someone is suggesting you something, and you don't accept that, that's a big red flag. All of the very successful startups and founders, they pivoted like millions of times, a lot of times,
Mm.
because they listen to the input, right? Or the market or the customer or someone. They listen, they accept what they listen. Because listening, okay, we can listen to each other, but we cannot understand what we say, right?
Right,
But
right.
to understand and accept. And so many things, so many. There is like a whole list, I think. But it doesn't mean that all of the topics or all of the skill set should like founder have. No, there is always like a DNA. It's a sequence and it
Yeah.
has different sequence in it, but all of them are working. So
Yeah, I think that's huge though, because I mean, even in your story, you guys pivoted many times and you
yes,
guys were committed to
strongly.
your goal, right? So I think you said
Yes.
in the beginning you were trying to solve for, the cameras or something like that, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you pivoted to servicing data centers. So I mean,
Yes.
even if you look at some of the bigger yeah, corporations out there, like, they pivoted multiple times because like you said, they had to listen to serve their market, and also they had mentorship around them, right? They had advisors, they had people
Yes.
that said, "Hey, look, you should consider this." I mean, for me, I've been vlogging my journey about building the Billings Club for the last 45 days, and in the beginning, I was gonna just launch a documentary series and then build a community, and then as time went by, like I didn't know that eventually we were going to be on this podcast, but it
Yeah.
was through like like you said, iteration and pivoting that I finally landed here. Where now we're building this, and I'm building these relationships with people like yourself, and yeah, it's just I think at the end of the day, some people, they're so sold on like this one direction of like how to get there. Because some people say, oh yeah, you need a business plan or a pitch deck and you got to follow it to the T. But I think what I've seen is that even when you write a business plan, it's good in the beginning, I guess, to have direction. But then right when you start executing, there's going to be a change, right?
Of course.
And I'm sure you've seen many pitch decks in your lifetime. But like, do you think that's really important in terms of like having like a pitch deck or a business plan? When you're, let's say, raising capital or even just to have some sort of direction, or do you think it's best
Mm,
to just um, like have like a one page, like kind of like a mission or vision statement? Like, what do you think is yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
listen, if you are having the startup and you start your pitch deck with mission and vision, nobody will invest into your who is a smart because I
Yeah.
mean, if you ever faced the entrepreneurship, we all know that mission and vision. Yes, of course, you have the vision when you are building something, but no one has time to like define the mission and vision in the beginning and then to think about the product, right? What you usually do is jump into the fire and try to survive. Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. But yeah, if we are talking about the industry standards, yes, of course. I mean, there is no other way to communicate with the investor, right? If in order to somehow explain, and usually you don't have this kind of amount of time when with the investor to sit down and talk, right? You just reach them out. They ask you to send them, it doesn't matter, one pager, pitch deck, I don't know, whatever. So to see, because to understand the topic. But what I personally think, and again, my friends who are in the business long time, they agree with what we're gonna say is that you need to be a bit creative
Mm.
because at the end, yes, I listen so many pitches, I see so many pitch decks. I mean, they are almost all same. They are always lacking something,
Yeah.
always. No exit strategy, for example. And I
Okay.
always ask, okay, guys, I mean, you are pitching in front of the investor. I need to give you the money, right? You are telling me that, okay, you are the good guy, you have the good product, there is a market. You are telling me everything, but you are not telling me how am I gonna benefit from this investment. You are not, I mean, you are not telling me the most important thing, what I'm looking for. And
Mm.
how, I mean, that's the point, right? You know, usually in majority of the cases, founders are so much focused on the product problem, team, I don't know, something inside, that
Mm.
they forget that to somehow raise the money, you need to think about investors. Think
Mm.
what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do, how they see same reality, right? Because at the end, I don't have any angel investors, especially. They don't have any kind of, I don't know, tools to control. We're just risking our own money, right? We are also gamblers, right? Together with you, we
Mm.
know that there is a huge chance you to fail, but we're coming into that because of many aspects how the investments are made. But at the end, uh, yes, that's the deciding factor. That I don't know. You're gonna send, for example, 1 minute video instead of pitch deck, just explaining what you do, or maybe
Mm.
showing what you do. Or
Mm.
maybe being even more creative and I don't know, getting some costume on you, because this is the way it works. You got the attention, right? You got the attention. Oh, okay, this guy, okay, he did like amazing job, he got in the costume. I had this experience, when they are sending the very seldom, but some kind of video, then, oh, okay, it's funny, they tried to be creative. And okay, if not everyone, in many cases, angel investors, they love to see something creative, and everyone loves to see something creative because there is the uniqueness in you, right? You tried. Okay, if you are in Series A and you are raising 3 million from the VC fund, maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know to send the
Yes.
send the video of the rabbit running. But again, I mean, you need to think out of the box, right?
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Actually, you know what? I seen the dollar. You ever heard of those guys, the Dollar Shave Club? Those guys.
I think
Um,
I think I've heard yes.
Yeah, like they launched like a subscription based service for like people that just for razors for men, and they
Razors.
made
Yeah.
so they
I've
made
seen
some
that.
sort of like Kickstarter
Yeah,
promotional video, and it was like very unique. It was like very kind of like Old Spice commercials where
yeah,
it's kind of funny. It's funny, but they're trying to be serious. Like they're pretending to
yes,
be serious, but it's funny. And then these guys like I think are like $1 billion company now, I think so.
yeah. And
It's
you still remember it, right? Why you still
yeah.
remember it? Because it had something in it that you remember. And imagine same with the investors, right? I listen to at least, I don't know, maybe 30 pitches per month. So if you divide, it's one pitch per day. So, I mean, imagine how can I remember all of it,
Mm,
right? What we invest into is the team, scalability, how good is the product, how scalable is the product. But most important, all of the investors would say that most important is the team. Because ideas, any taxi driver can tell you like 10,000 ideas for $1 billion, but ideas are not for sale. The execution is the key. How are you gonna do it? How are you gonna see it? And it's a funny story. I've met with just recently there was the one startup they wanted to be mentored, and when they fill up the application, they said, uh, "We're gonna share all the information after you're gonna sign the NDA." And I respect that, of course, but on the other hand, if I were there mentoring others to steal the idea or to build, it's impossible. I cannot build. Whatever you are building, I cannot build it, not same way. I cannot build it because you saw that as it
Mm-hmm.
is because of your past experiences and past so many things that it's impossible to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna have unlimited money even today, you cannot do the Apple. You cannot copy it because
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
set of the certain people with certain experiences, with certain technology, with certain vision, and it's unique. It's there is no possibility that even if I sit down together with you now and I'm gonna tell you like line by line what I did, you are still the different person. You're gonna do it differently. So, and it makes me sometimes like, funny when some founders try to hide what they are doing. Come on, guys, we are here. We are developing humanity. Yes, if someone will steal it, it means you had good idea and they did it better than you. That's it. It doesn't
Mm.
mean that, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I mean, look at the way that OpenAI was originally founded. It was to be open source, right? And then,
Yes.
I guess for whatever reason they decided, to, make it closed. So, I mean, there's that whole toss up between like I just saw like a clip of like early days, Steve Jobs thought Bill Gates stole his software, like copied it, right? And he was pissed, he's like, this is illegal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Um, because obviously but at the same time, Microsoft is going to be Microsoft, Apple's going to be Apple. They're not going to be ever the same, right?
Yes.
Just like what you said, no matter how much you think, and look at now, even with ChatGPT, there's so many LLMs popping up, right? It's like,
Yes. A lot.
and even with Tesla, like, I think Elon Musk open sourced his electric vehicles out there, and now there's almost every car company has electric vehicles, right? And like you said,
Yes.
to your point about humanity, it's like, why not, why not collaborate to, keep it open out there? There's enough for everyone, right? And nobody's gonna be you at the end of the day. There's never gonna be another David or Jordan. Like we're all gonna be doing our own thing in our own way,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I think that's how things can move quicker, right?
There is no precedent in the humanity's life when competition developed big things.
Mm,
By big thing, I don't mean the companies. I mean very breakthroughs, very big things. They all were done by collaboration.
hmm hmm
So you will, of course, competition is very important because competition is also developing a lot in the field. But if we are talking about very big breakthroughs, like you mentioned, for example, Tesla case, right? Collaboration, what is collaboration creating in Tesla's case is that it expands the market, right?
hmm hmm
So if everyone is now developing the EV cars, yes, it benefits Tesla because they're gonna be able to sell more, right? And this is the very good example how collaboration and competition same time could happen, but also it's good for the humanity, right? Good
mm
for the earth because we're gonna okay. Even though I'm skeptical about how the lithium is exhausted from the soil in one part of the world and how we think that this is green. Yes, it is green, as a matter of fact, of course, it is. We will not have these exhaust gases and so on and so on. But on the other hand, yes, if we want to develop something, if we want to be like clean, if our children, we want them to breathe cleaner air, yes, we need to do something like this, because at the end, yes, money, okay, money is a big tool for the independence and the freedom, but I don't think that we can develop something unique and very big without collaboration.
Yeah, that's why I created this group, because with the Billions Club is that I really believe that if we truly what if whatever we're building, we need to build it as like a community, right? Like, and come together to help, impact billions of lives and also generate billions of dollars, right?
Yes.
So that's why I call it the Billions Club is because it's about, billions of dollars impacting billions of lives, and billions of people, and like you said, you can't do it by yourself, and I guess
No.
with you now with what you're working on, you said you're trying to build a holding company, or you're not trying. I mean, you are building a whole, you are building it out actively.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Um,
trying. No, I'm trying. We all try. We all try to do
uh,
something.
and you also are, you said you're doing your mentorship. I guess what separates you from, other people who are in the space of like mentoring as an investor? Like what's I guess what's your unique stance as a mentor?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks a lot. My unique stance is very simple. I've seen both worlds, and now I try to show it to the founders that there is other world, which is called the investors world. And usually that's my unique perspective when I try to shift the perspective of the founders from the product or problem or startup to the direction of how investor is thinking, what they want from you. And I have a program for it. We do 5 weeks investment readiness program where we are actively working with the founders, and this is for founders only, to rethink everything before getting in front of the investors. Because if you do the research and if you're gonna see the results of what is the positive rate of getting investments from the startups, you will be frightened because it's very low.
Hmm.
So basically, they tried to raise the money and they could not. And since I've been myself the founder many times, and now I'm investing into them, and I'm traveling a lot to see around with the tech events and take a part as a speaker or as a jury. There is a pattern, and the pattern is usually very simple. You need to see something from a different perspective. Okay, to execute is it's not that simple, but definition is simple. That you need to see the world from the different perspective, and there is so many perspectives you can have a look about your product, right? For example, I don't know. We had the case when one of the startup had Shopify-like solution. And during discussion, we realized that he was trying to sell the product, but we realized that the more valuable he could sell was the data, of course,
Hmm.
legally. So, and that kind of shifts, because when you are in front of the investor and you are pitching something, right? You don't have clue that this might be done differently, or you
Hmm.
never thought that same product or same approach or same solution could be sold in many times. You can do B2B, you can do, I don't know, sell to government, not for the every product, but I'm just, in general. And then this kind of perspective shifts and this kind of different, let's say, dimensions of the same problem is giving opening the eyes of the founders, and they are changing their pitch deck, and then the rate of getting the funding is like dramatically high, 80%, more than 80%.
Wow,
So
that's huge.
because you never thought about it.
Hmm.
That's all.
Hmm.
You never thought what investors want. You never thought that same product could be sold in different ways. You never thought that in order to get the investor on board, and I'm talking about the early stage investments and angel investors, it's important to choose the investors. You
Mm,
shouldn't go to everyone because
right,
if I know energy, right? I know energy, and you are coming from the crypto world, for example.
right.
Yes, I have in my portfolio variety of fields, but I need more time and more thinking and more internal belief in you to invest into you. But if you're coming from the fields that I already know, for example, I don't know if I'm good at Horeca, I don't know, you are coming to pitch me some FMCG product. Yeah, of course, it's easier for me because I know the industry and it's easier to invest. So usually, I mean, that's the problem that I don't know, the guy has the startup from crypto world and then goes to the investor who has the experience in I don't know, pharmacy. You know,
Mm.
and that yes, of course, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I mean, to get funding. What I'm saying, if you're gonna choose the right people to invest into your startup, it's easier, faster, positive rate is higher, you waste less time, right? So there are so many obvious truths that why should you ignore? Yeah, it's hard to find them. Yeah, it's hard to talk with them. Yeah, it's hard to yes, yes, yes. But what is that is easy in our lives? I mean, majority of our life is yeah hard.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, you've been through it. You know, you said you've seen three wars, like which is crazy. I
Yes,
mean, even just to go through one civil or international war or or national war, any type of battle, any type of is crazy. And then you going through the challenge of your business, and now you're still building, which is amazing. I mean, some investors maybe they're not actively building, but they're just building. I mean, they're just investing. So I think that's a big thing, with you is you're still actively in the game. At the same time, you're also supporting and empowering other founders who are starting the game, right? And
yes,
and I think, do you have like, can you share like, maybe one story of a founder that, kind of gone through your mentorship and, that six like has like gotten benefit? Like you don't have to expose any names, but just kind of
yeah, of
like
course. Yeah, I'm under NDA. I cannot. But so many. I'm
maybe
just struggling.
maybe one that stands out to you, like that recent, like maybe recently or in the past years or whatever that
I
you've
remember
supported.
one. They are my portfolio company. They have a very interesting solution. This is edtech solution, educational tech. And I remember that not only, and I want to emphasize that sometimes people think that this mentorship, coaching, and this kind of things now are in anyone anyone who can speak the language thinks that they are I don't know, they know something. I don't know anything. I'm not good at anything. I just love to face the truth. And this gives me sometimes the ability to talk from my heart and honest.
Mm,
So the mentorship is not only about someone guiding you. It's about bonding and it's about how this mentor can help you in many ways. And this
mm.
help is not educational help. This help is like, slapping kind of
Yeah, yeah.
help, because at the end we all need that. We all need the slapping, because we
Mm,
need to see, we need to change. And in order to change, you need like really, let's say, not comfortable ways of seeing some stuff. And I remember that we were, and I call that just a simple talking. It's mentorship is
yeah.
not something that I don't know. People imagine I don't know someone lays down or something. Nothing is just talking, right? And we were talking, and and I remember that the perspective shift from how to approach very simple thing. For example, uh, I remember we were together in in DC in very interesting event, and it was evening dinner, and I remember he was struggling to meet with the investor. And this guy is very big. He's NBA champion, so it's another challenge to approach him because he's famous and I said, okay, why don't we go together? You and me, even though I
Yeah.
don't know him.
Yeah.
Let's go together. I'm gonna shake his hand. I'm gonna say that I'm investing into your startup and I'm mentoring, and then I'm gonna introduce you to him without knowing him. And we did that. And this has nothing to do with mentorship. But what I want to say is that sometimes it's not only the mentorship or not, it's also some kind of gestures, when someone is doing something, when someone is proving that you might approach same problem with different perspectives, or I don't know, in case of another startup, just simple call
Mm,
after our mentorship, because I realized that there was something really interesting. Just simple one call, or one
mm,
introduction, or one let's say sentence that changed their perspective about how to approach the problem, or how to deal with, I don't know, scaling, for example. Usually this is the problem also, that they
right.
scale fast and cannot manage. It changed a lot.
Mm,
It's very hard to calculate that into numbers, because at the
right.
end, I cannot say that, I don't know, okay, I don't know, valuation grew 10 times. But what
Right.
I
Yeah.
can say for sure, this is the huge impact. And we have case studies, and usually these case studies are like really much about that topic, that this is eye-opening experience, and this is something that you cannot measure by numbers, really,
Right.
but it's very impactful.
Mm, mm. Yeah. No,
And the
that's
process
huge, man.
that we are doing usually is very creative as well. This is very important, right? We don't have like set of the topics that we're covering, like we are talking now, right? We never had
Yeah.
any exchange of the questions or answers or something. We are just talking, right? But it's
Yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
at least for me.
No, definitely. Look. I'm soaking this in, and yeah, this is awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
So look, we're I guess we kind of came to our hour mark here, but I'd love to definitely
yes,
talk more. I'm sure we could talk for hours, and I know I want to respect your time as well.
thank you.
Any final thoughts to, like, founders that are watching this that you want to share, that could support or empower them?
Um, Go for it first. Second, don't go for it alone. And there is a help. All you have to do is ask. Um, I There are so many platforms. In majority of the cases, even though I have my own program, I'm part of the couple of very interesting initiatives in multiple countries. This is UK, US, and so on, in which you can get the help, support, or any kind of just advice, maybe for free, or maybe for like $50, $100,
Mm. Yeah,
because there are so many people that want to contribute back, and that want to give you back, that use it and go for it. It's very simple. There is no recipe how to do it. Just do it.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, David, really awesome talking to you. Definitely would love to have in-person lunch with you or dinner. One time we could,
I
break some
think,
bread.
yeah, I've never been to Canada, so if there will be invitation for lunch, and yeah, I might come. Why not?
That's awesome, man. Well, David, thank you so much again. And what's the best way anybody can get in touch with you? If they
LinkedIn,
want to reach out.
LinkedIn, yeah, LinkedIn is the best way to reach me out. It's very simple, like my name, Davit Tsitsko. You can find me on the LinkedIn. reach me out. I got a lot of messages. I try to answer them all. I never leave the message without the answer. And this is thanks to me and my team who is actively working on it. And let's talk. There is always time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, we can sit down and talk just for understanding. And then, yeah, we're gonna see what we're gonna do together.
That's awesome. And sorry if I said your name wrong the whole time. David, David.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm David, David, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. Same story.
That's all. That's all. Well, David, thank you so much again for for
Thank you.
spending this time with me. And yeah, we'll definitely yeah. If anybody here wants to reach out, remember reach out to him on LinkedIn. This will be on our school community as well for the Billions Club. And yeah, thank you so much, David. David.
Thanks a lot. Thank you,
Thank,
Jordan. Thanks a lot.
thank you.